Hello, it's been a minute. I'm Zand, and this is a whole new league. For those of you who don't know, SCDA ended with me not making it into playoffs. I ended up forfeiting my last week because I just had no chance. So I thought it was better to just go ahead and forfeit because, during the holidays, it wasn't worth trying to schedule a battle and get that going. But anyway, I feel like we had a decent run there. We had a lot of bad luck, but we're moving on. We've got two more leagues coming out. This is PGL season 16, so where we played VGC last season. We're running it back with that league. You'll see some familiar faces and you'll see some people you haven't seen before. So I hope you enjoy. It will be through Showdown. It won't be through Wi-Fi. The other league I'm doing that should go up, I believe, next week will be Wi-Fi. But this one is going to be strictly Showdown. I am trying a new format with OBS instead of using my other recording software because I want to get away from that, honestly. It's really obnoxious to use. But anyway, that's beside the point. So for week one, we were playing Sandan and Stall to Go. We played him in the doubles season. He picked up someone else's team and actually did really well with it, despite the fact that it was not, the best team of all time. I think he did a great job. And so now that he's had a chance to make his own team, I think that makes him very threatening. So, for those of you who don't know, in case I don't put up a draft analysis, this is my team here, but Jirachi's only here for this week. I've already switched it for Thundurus and Incarnate next week, just because I'd like the extra ground immunity and I'd like the faster Pokemon. So, yeah, just so you know. But yeah, we've got a pretty bulky team. I'll have Terra types put up on the screen in editing. But my Indeedee is Psychic, Fairy, Fighting, which isn't relevant to this. Magneton isn't relevant. And Gogoat is Grass, Ground, and Water. My opponent's team is, as you may see, Stall to Go, but with a few extra offensive quirks. So he's got the Roaring Moon was his first pick, I believe, or at least his highest point pick. Super threatening with the Photosynthesis, very strong Dragon Dark type. Obviously, it has to work pretty hard to break through my team. I feel like I've drafted a lot of bulk this season, but that's not saying it can't, because obviously with a booster energy attack boost and one Dragon Dance, it does a ton of damage to everything. So that's something we've got to worry about and something I've brought at least two Pokemon to deal with. He's got the Slowking as his regenerator. Kind of gets in and out, can pivot with Chilly Reception, but can also run AV with 4 big coverage moves. And I am kind of expecting him to go AV because he wants things like Grass Knot for the Swampert, Sludge Bomb for the Sylveon. He wants some kind of coverage for Overqwil, I would imagine. So he wants a bunch of different moves, so I imagine that would make him want to run AV, but who knows, maybe he does run a more defensive Chilly Reception set. He's got the Thundurus Therian, which is another more offensive Pokemon. I don't know that it comes against me. But it was definitely giving me trouble. I really wanted to bring Magneton this week, but Thundurus Therian's one of the reasons I'm not. He just has so many good answers to it, and the only thing Magneton would show up for is to deal with Skarmory, so I could not justify a 1-for-1 with one of my worst Pokemon when I had a lot of better ones in reserve. He's got the Skarmory, super annoying for my team, and honestly, I'm not bringing that much to deal with it. I've got just a few things that can wear it down over time. I'm hoping that me just having Magneton over here kind of scares him off. So a lot of my division has trappable steel types, which is why I have Magneton in the first place. So I'm hoping that me just having it on the bench scares him off, but I definitely do need to bring it at some point or people are just going to expect me to leave it on the bench. He's got the Skeledirge, that's his Unawaremon. Fire Ghost is pretty annoying for my team, but luckily I do have a handful of answers here that can kind of help me break it with super effective damage, even if I'm not able to set up on it. It's got Screamtail, really annoying disruption, very fast at base 111 speed. It's a good fairy type. It can Wish Pass into all these other guys, but it also has things like Thunderwave and Encore and Disable to just be super annoying. Really makes it harder for me to set up with my slower Pokemon, which is why most of my setup is going to be on things that can boost. So that's kind of the hope. Screamtail's kind of passive is a plus for it, so maybe we can take advantage of that. He's got Vaporeon that I fully expect him to bring this week. I'll have his Terra types up on the screen as well, but I know Vaporeon is Water, Ground, and one other type that's not coming to mind for whatever reason. Very bulky, just like Screamtail, it can Wish Pass, but I think Vaporeon itself just wants to keep its own wishes, use things like Surf and Ice Beam, deal just large amounts of damage, and then with Ground Terra, he maintains that water absorb immunity. So he's only weak to grass and ice, which luckily we do have some coverage of. He's got Blissey, yet another absolute nightmare for my Magneton to try to deal with. Just, you know, no special attackers ever breaking through a Blissey except, you know, like a Volcarona or something with Taunt. So, yeah, we have a few special mons this week, but obviously they're not doing anything to Blissey. So effectively, I'm going to have to try to be creative with doubles and switching out on that so that it doesn't get a lot of momentum out of it and heal his Pokemon back up. He's got the Bramblegast, so kind of an offensive spinner. I was worried about it because on my first build I didn't have Overquill, but now that I'm bringing Overquill, I'm really not concerned. I guess it could do some obnoxious like Leech Seed shenanigans, but really I'm not that concerned about it because Overquill is always a pretty big check to it. And finally, he's got the camera up. This is his other Terra Captain. I know it's Ground Terra. I don't remember its other two Terras, but I'll put them up on the screen. I don't really expect it to show up. If it does, maybe it's an issue. Its coverage is pretty strong into me, but it should never be able to break Swampert and beat it 1v1. I do anticipate him to bring Vaporeon as his Terra Captain. I think Blissey might show up. I do think Skeledirge shows up. And then the other three, probably Roaring Moon and Slowking, and then the last one I'm unsure. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at for our matchup this week. And now let's look at what I'm bringing. Okay, so the team I'm bringing this week, to me, looks like a bunch of empty boxes right now because I am using some newer Pokemon. But I did decide to bring Gogoat this week. I think it actually looks really good into him with the Ground Terra. Suddenly we only have two weaknesses to water and ice because we get rid of that grass weakness completely with Sap Sipper. Bulk Up, Leech Seed, Earthquake, and Horn Leech. It kinda has a standstill with Skarmory, so that's a bit of an issue. But otherwise, I think it's really strong. Leech Seed can at least help us kind of 1v1 the Skarmory. If it's like Iron Defense, Body Press, we can Leech Seed and then Horn Leech and maybe catch Roost with Earthquake if it happens to be faster than us because we're barely running any speed. But essentially, Gogoat was originally planned to sweep him once Skarmory was gone because Magneton could trap Skarmory. But now that we're not doing that, we're going to have to find a new way to get rid of Magneton. So yeah, Gogoat is there to win late game, but it can also threaten some of his Pokemon mid game, like Vaporeon. We've got the Terapagos. I'm really excited to use this thing. I thought it was really unique. It has multi-scale. It's got really good stats all around. It's got a ton of good moves, although it has no recovery. That made me sad. No recovery, no momentum. So I was kind of hoping it had like either Flip Turn or, I don't know, Moonlight or something. But unfortunately not, so we'll have to rely on Rest for our heals in the future or our other Pokemon. This week I'm bringing a pretty standard, I would imagine, set. I know it's fairly new, so there's not that much standard, but I know I wanted Rapid Spin. I know I wanted Heavy Duty Boots so that rocks don't instantly destroy my ability. And then Ice Beam Earth Power is just really solid coverage into this team. I did also want to put the its signature move that's like essentially normal type Judgment, but I couldn't fit it because I also wanted to be able to boost, because with 2 Rapid Spins, we outrun pretty much every version of Roaring Moon, even if it's like Speed Booster, or at least we outspeed it without Speed Booster, I think is what I set this to. And then we've got the Ice Beam, Earth Power, just really good coverage into his team. If we can boost up, there's not a lot you can do to break it. Obviously, we need to get rid of Blissey first, and we need to chip Skeledirge to an extent. But if we can do that, then this Terapagos can just win. And otherwise, even if it can't win, it can just spin, keep hazards away for the rest of our team. We got the Overquill. I didn't really know how I felt about it at first, but it is really strong with Taunt in this matchup, I think, because we can taunt the Skeledirge to stop it from Will-O-Wisping us or slacking off. We can taunt things like the Blissey to stop it from healing. And then Barbarage is kind of a natural toxic plus damage, so that's nice to have. We've got Crunch just because it's good coverage into both Bramblegast and Skeledirge, and honestly really good neutral coverage in his team. He doesn't have a lot for dark types. And then Protect, just in case we do get those poisons, we can go for kind of some poison protection and again, kind of scout for things. We got the Gouging Fire this week. This is our one-time boost. I don't like bringing things that can only really activate once into a really stally team, but you know, can't really do much about it at this point. is what we've got to deal with. I think Booster Energy is the only way we really break through Skeledirge with Unaware. So Heat Crash is really strong. No, pretty much his entire team outside of Roaring Moon, and we have Dragon Claw for Roaring Moon. We got Earthquake for everything that's relevant against, and then Dragon Dance. One Dragon Dance goes insane in this matchup. And then we've got enough health to pretty much always survive a Dragon Claw from Roaring Moon, even if it's attack booster. We just can't survive an Outrage, and if it outrages, then that's just, you know, we just gotta deal with it. We've got the AV Swampert, which I thought was a pretty sick bring this week. Knockoff is huge into his team. Like I said, no real dark switch-ins, and removing items on a stall team is always nice. Flip Turn gives us a lot of good momentum, so it can help us bring in things and keep up offensive pressure on whatever he brings in on Swampert. We got the Earthquake, just really good, you know, general coverage, and then Smackdown helps us 1v1 the Skarmory and the Thundurus if it comes down to it. Obviously, we don't want to stay in on Thundurus because it probably has Grass Knot, but if we have to, we can, and we can kind of 1v1 it. And finally, we have the Sylveon. Fairy is really bad into him. His only Fairy weak Pokemon is the Roaring Moon, and then he has like 4 resist. So it's really not a good move, but Sylveon doesn't have the same coverage. It doesn't have Mystical Fire anymore, so I can't just lock that in instead. So Hyper Voice is just a decent enough damaging move, and then we've got the Wish, the Roar, and the Baton Pass. So Roar is so things like Calm Mind or Torch Song Skeledirge or even Iron Defense Skarmory can't go crazy against us, so that we can phase them out and them not put us into end games that we can't win. Wish, you know, obviously healing for Sylveon, but also Wish plus Baton Pass means we can gain momentum and heal up Pokemon like our Terrapagos, get it back to full, and get its ability reactivated. So yeah, that's the team, and we're gonna get into the battle. Alright, and we're back. And yeah, I almost messed up because Terrapagos can't be in its big form from the get, apparently. I've never used it, so spoilers. So looking at what he brought, I think this is kind of what I called Nove Porygon, which is interesting. Blissey I think can be either Fairy or Ghost, so Ghost would be interesting. So if we look at our teams, I didn't bring Jirachi, I didn't bring a Hawlucha this week, no Indeedee and no Magneton. He did not bring Bramble, Camerupt, Vaporeon, or Slowking, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, no Slowking. Very interesting. So looking at his weaknesses, just to have an idea, Ice and Rock really hurt him pretty badly. And then just knockoff spam is generally solid into him. So yeah, I never thought of a lead, unfortunately. So if you wanted to lead hazards, it would be Screamtail, Blissey, or Skarm. We don't have something that really wants to deal with all of those. Overquill's a decent lead into most of his team, except the Thundy. We really don't want to take a hit from the Thundy for no reason. So I think I could lead Swampert and just get a knockoff off immediately. So he leads the Roaring Moon. That leads me to believe it's banded. Let me get a calc up on my other screen. Sorry. Really unprepared for this one, so that's my bad. It's also like midnight my time, so struggling to stay awake and aware of what's going on. So if we look at my Swampert set into Roaring Moon banded, I mean Outrage could kill us right here. I don't see him clicking Outrage turn 1. I mean, Sylveon's my answer to this, so I am just gonna hard switch into Sylveon. So yeah, interesting lead. So he's not booster, which honestly is good news to me. I was really worried for late game Roaring Moon with booster attack, getting 1 Dragon Dance up and just running through my entire team. Because if Sylveon and Overquill get weakened enough, it's in bad shape. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't really run it as zoomed in as I usually do. So he does go for the knockoff, gets rid of Sylveon's helmet immediately. But we do get chip on it, and I'm pretty sure he switches out here. I could go for a wish, but I think I could just go for a Drabaton pass. I don't think an Iron Head ever kills me here, and I can actually see if that's banded. So we got our Sylveon. Nah, that wasn't banded. Not at all, actually. That's probably Jolly. That's not adamant. So he could have Iron Head, which would suck. But it shouldn't kill us. It wouldn't kill us even if he's banded, so we'll just Baton Pass. So he U-turns. So he's knockoff U-turn, not choiced in any way. Goes into the Blissey. We instantly Baton Pass. What do we have that threatens Blissey? Obviously, Overquill, Water, Swampert. Sorry, that's my nickname from when I was a child. I thought it was fitting. Gogoat, we could bring in and go ahead and Terra up, because going ahead and becoming a ground type is actually really beneficial to us. Switch in on things. And if he tries to Thunder Wave us, obviously we won't let him. So we'll just go ahead, Terastallize. I guess I'll Leech Seed. If he switches into something, then it's pressured by that 12% per turn. I'm worried this is going to be a long game, and some of my Pokemon are not really fit to take a lot of hits, so we're going to have to figure that out. I was hoping he wouldn't bring the Skarmory, but maybe it's Shed Shell. Or, yeah, so Skarm comes in, we get the Leech Seed off, get the 12%, and we have a few switch-ins here. Swampert's not really threatened by anything he wants to do unless he starts setting up iron defenses. We could also go into the Overquill. And obviously we could go into Terapagos if we think he starts spike stacking us. I think we start with the Overquill though. Get the Intimidate. He Whirlwinds. Okay, so he forces me into Gouging Fire. Ugh, I was worried about that. It made me not want to bring Booster for that reason. But at the end of the day, Booster Energy just goes so crazy that it's like, it was more worth it. So unfortunately, we're not going to have the Booster into the later game. I can just go for a Heat Crash here. He does go into Scream Tail. And we get a big crit, does 64. So the next one should KO. He might try to Status us here, though, which I would not be a fan of. I think he might try to Thunder Wave. Right? Like Wish, Encore, Thunder Wave, Dazzling Gleam, something like that. This is really important to breaking some Pokemon of his in the late game. And if it gets paralyzed, then it's just not great. It's hard. I think I can go into Overquill here. Well, if he Thunder Waves, I'd rather go into like Gogoat. Yeah, I think I'll go into Gogoat. Get rid of my Booster, unfortunately. Goes for the Protect to see what I want to do. I could have Dragon Dance there. That would have been kind of nutty. But obviously, it doesn't win with a full health Skeledirge in the back. So here, do I ever KO a Scream Tail? Probably not, right? Scream Tail is crazy bulky. If Gouging Fire with a crit. Oh, it's full Fizz Def. Yeah, that's full Fizz Def, huh? Very bulky. Yeah, so if I did only that much with a crit, then Gogoat is doing absolutely nothing. I can go for Leech here. Yeah, he does Wish. He's definitely going to Protect next turn. And that means I can go for a Bulk Up here. He Encores. Okay. Fair. Does he switch here? He probably Wishes again. So Encore, Wish, Protect. I really thought he'd be Thunder Wave. So that means, honestly, Gouging Fire is pretty safe to Dragon Dance, right? Unless he's no attacks Thunder Wave. So we'll go back into that. I mean, he can Protect to get his Wish here, or he can attack. or switch and get his wish on something else. I will just Dragon Dance though. Okay, he has Gleam, just 20%. Really is not doing anything to us. We're gonna get most of our health back off that Leech Seed. And then we always outspeed this here, so I can't just go for a Heat Crash now. 52%. I get Encored, but I'm locked into Heat Crash. I think his only switch ends are Roaring Moon, because it's so heavy. Like, that thing's crazy heavy, and Skeledirge. Yeah, Heat Crash does like nothing. At +1, it does like 20%. That's wild. And Skeledirge, yeah, it's also doing nothing. So either of those comes in here. And either of those Overquill's better into, I think. Yep, so there's the Skeledirge. He might try to Will-O-Wisp us. I will go for the taunt. Oh, he just immediately double switches into Skarm. So we do get a taunt up. That's nice. That means he can't go for anything crazy. We can see what kind of attacking move he is. See if he's Body Press or something more sinister, as a popular YouTuber might say. Would it be Iron Head ever? Or could I get a wish on Sylveon? Probably won't let me get a wish on Sylveon. I'll just crunch, see what he's got. He's Brave Bird, okay. Does a little bit, does more to himself in recoil. Brave Bird hurts my team pretty badly. I didn't bring a Flying Resist this week. I'll Protect to get a little bit of leftovers back, because I don't want Overquill getting more chipped. And I'll crunch here. He might think I taunt again and just click Brave Bird again, which means I could KO him or stop him from healing on the following turn, and he'll be a nice and low health Skarmory, which would be really nice for me. Switches into the Roaring Moon. We do 20% of that. I want the Intimidate on it. Does he KO me? He's obviously not Banded. He's Dragon Dance. Shouldn't ever KO me, but I'm doing 30% back to him with a chance to poison, so I think it is safer just to go into Sylveon here. Earthquake does 32%, so he's very close to KOing us. I will go for the Hyper Voice, assuming his last move's not Iron Head. I would think it would be Dragon Dance, but maybe it is Iron Head. Maybe he's like AV Roaring Moon. Like, that's kind of how this is being played right now. Which, honestly, isn't the worst set ever. I could have said I wish there. Did not. Do minimal damage with Hyper Voice. I will go for a wish now. Just see what he does. He sets rocks. It's fine. I have a spinner. This could be Terra Ghost to block the spin, which is totally fine. Here it really doesn't matter what I do. Hyper Voice is minimal damage. Roar really isn't doing much. I will just Hyper Voice. Another 16%, and he Seismic Tosses to knock me out. Okay. So let's go into Terrapagos. And, okay, it did transform. That's lucky. I think he's gonna Terra Ghost here, honestly, because he's gonna predict my spin. So if he's Terra Ghost, he's gonna use it. So that means I need to go into something that threatens a Terra Ghost Blissey. I think Swampert could do it with knockoff, and I could actually get rid of an item this time. Terra? No Terra. Okay, I could have just spun for free. We all are also really slow pert, so that's not great. I mean, I could just go back into Terrapagos. I really did expect him to want to Terra there. We do knock off the Skarm, which is nice. He's shown Brave Bird Whirlwind. I could flip turn here, get in Terrapagos, try to get a spin. I think I will. He does Roost. Obviously, we're slower. We're min speed Swampert. The only thing we were ever outspeeding was the Slowking. We'll get a spin here, get rid of these rocks because they're annoying to Gouging Fire. If he wants to Whirlwind, it's fine. Does go into Blissey. Spin does relatively good damage. I mean, I could go into the Overquill here, get a little bit of Black Sludge, and then threaten Barb Barrage or Taunt. Dang, we don't have a good way to heal Swampert anymore, which is pretty frustrating. Gogoat also can't really beat what he's got left, although Screamtail is really weakened, which is nice. I think we'll go into the Overquill, threaten the taunt. He does set rocks back up, which is totally fine. I could have just infinitely spun, but I think he would have Ghost Herod eventually. Skarm probably comes in here. I will just go for a taunt anyway. So Whirlwind, Roost, Brave Bird. I think we do 1v1 this. The problem is, if we let Overquill take all this chip damage, we almost certainly lose to Roaring Moon. So I do... if I go into this, I burn my only Terra Shell. So I think it's better to just go for Weakening Skarm here. So we're doing the same damage to each other since he's taking Recoil. He doesn't have a good Crunch switch in outside of the Roaring Moon, and I don't know that he goes into it. But so we'll go for a Crunch here. Maybe he does, but it's slowly getting chipped down as long as we don't let a Wish go into it. I don't know that he Brave Birds again here. That would be kind of insane to let Skarmory go at this point, because it's his main way to stop Terrapagos from doing, or sorry, not Terrapagos, Gogoat from going crazy. Although I guess he always has Screamtail to just encore. He does go into the Roaring Moon. He threatens me with an Earthquake. I really don't have anything that can deal with an Earthquake. So we'll just protect here, get one more turn of Black Sludge. He's Roost last move. That's not good for me. So now I'm pretty much giving something up every time Roaring Moon comes in. I want to save Intimidate though, because he can't boost at all. So if we look at Gogoat into Roaring Moon, yeah, if we don't have a bulk up, Knockoff's going crazy against us. And Swampert is kind of built both ways. Knockoff is still doing crazy damage to us. Oh, am I looking? I'm not looking at Banded. Wow, okay. Oh, I'm looking at Booster though. Let me get rid of that Booster. Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought it was. Could be a lot worse. Earthquake's never knocking out Overquill, but again, we're doing like 30% to him. So who's our least valuable member? Unfortunately, it might be Swampert, just because we've already gotten chipped quite a bit. So we'll just go into that. Knocks off. Good play. 55%, man. Roaring Moon is so strong. Like, that's no booster. Oh, that's like a max roll if he's Jolly. So we'll just Quake. Knocks off, KOs me. I'll bring Overquill back in to get an Intimidate. And now I can go for a Barb Barrage. Does Quake, does 42%. Barb Barrage, don't get the poison. I think my Protect's pretty obvious here, so I think he'll want to Roost, so we'll go for another Barb Barrage, but I get bailed out by a low roll. Poison? No poison, okay. Unfortunate. Alright, so Roaring Moon claims 2 KOs. Not great. We have a little bit left in the tank, and that is Terrapagos. I guess I could have saved Overquill. He does a U-turn, breaks my Terra Shell with a U-turn, which is not great for me. Blissey comes in. We can never beat Blissey 1v1, but I can also never let it get up rocks here, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to get another speed boost here. He does Soft Boiled. I'm not sure what his last move would be. I don't think I can ever beat it with this, unfortunately. So we'll just go into the Gouging Fire. I need to make threatening plays. He does S-Toss. We can obviously Heat Crash. We can obviously Dragon Dance. I don't know if his last move is Thunder Wave or not, but he hasn't clicked it yet, which makes me think he may not have it. Heat Crash should KO this from where it's at. So he does go into the Dirge. Heat Crash does... this was my first pick, essentially. Isn't that great? That's got to be full physical defense. He really prepped for this Gouging Fire. Holy... Oh, I'm looking at Booster. I was like, how is it not? Adamant. Let's get rid of the Booster. Yeah, that's more like it. So yeah, Earthquake's never 2-hit KOing this. We need Gouging Fire badly. But I have to deal damage to Skeledirge. Does 42% with Earth Power. I can just Quake it, get it really low. He's just gonna go slack off. He's just going to get his stuff back up. Could switch into Terapagos, I guess. Save the gouging. Earth Power really doesn't do anything. I threaten him with an Earth Power back. He doesn't know that I have it. Calm Minding in front of this is not worth it. Blissey always comes in for free. I will show Calm Mind. Not that it really matters. I can never break Blissey before it beats me with Seismic Toss. It actually KOs me in 2 anyway. And Seismic Toss doesn't quite KO Gouging Fire, but it definitely is hard for us to deal with. We're never going to be able to set up a bulk up as long as Screamtail's around either. So I need to save 1 sack. And I think I would rather that sack be Gouging Fire. Right? No, we need to go into that. We need to get some offensive threats going. He does get rocks up, which really doesn't matter this late into the game. He Crash would knock out Blissey here. He can safely switch into the Dirge though, so we'll just... I'll go for Earthquake. If he predicts it, he predicts it, and that's fine. If I clear Blissey, that's good. No, I really think he goes Dirge. He's been making the safe plays. It's stall. You make safe plays. Which, it's not like he needs Blissey that much anymore this game. It's one of the things that Gogoat sets up on, so, yeah. So I did not prep very well for this, now that I'm looking at it. I think I definitely messed up with a booster energy and not bringing Magneton. If I could have flip turned Swampert straight into Magneton and just eliminated Scarm instantly, that would have been amazing. He just brought leftover Scarm. He did not respect the Magneton with that, but I obviously could have switched around it, just doubled every time. Screamtail comes in. I mean, he could go for a Wish. This is the main thing stopping Gogoat from setting up this and Roaring Moon. I think he goes for Wish here, and if I knock him out, he revenges me with Roaring Moon and wins the game. So I think I'm going to go for a Dragon Dance. He goes for Wish, and now Roaring Moon can come in. He threatens me with an Encore, so I have to click an offensive move. He could also Protect, and I could Dragon Dance on the Protect. But I think he would want to Encore, because that also means Roaring Moon wins. So we'll Heat Crash. Dirge comes in. Damn. So it does not care about our boost, unfortunately. So I can go into the Terapagos once again. Earth Powers does 19%. It's really doing nothing, and we can weaken this Dirge. Or we can Rapid Spin or Earth Power on Blissey. Don't get a Spadef drop, which is fine. I will spin. I'll let him knock out Terapagos at this point. He definitely heals here. So I'm going to switch into Gouging Fire. Doesn't heal here. Okay. Obviously, Dirge can take 2 Earthquakes, so it's a super free switch in for him at this point. But I will go for Earthquake anyway. We do 44% that time, so crit knocks it out, but I'm not playing for a crit, but I will go for a Quake regardless. He does take us out in return with the Earth Power. This might be Gogoat's time. The question is, does he instantly switch in Screamtail to try to get an Encore off? Because if he does, my best play here is to like Horn Leech or Earthquake. But if he doesn't, I really need a bulk up to help me deal with that Roaring Moon. I'm going to go for a Horn Leech. I mean, Skarmory always beats this. I don't know why I'm trying to think it could possibly win the game at this point. Does he burn me? If he burns me, it's mega over. I'm going to go for an Earthquake, see if he lets me get a KO. He doesn't. He goes into Skarmory. He can Whirlwind me, so we'll go for a Leech Seed just for the chip on Skarm. Sets up a Spike. Not that that does anything because Terapagos is Heavy Duty Boots, but he can Whirlwind me, of course. As long as Terapagos is alive, he can Whirlwind me. So he does Roost. We'll bulk up. He probably Whirlwinds here. I should have Earthquaked, I guess. Earthquake would have been kind of sick. I mean, the most I can do here is Horn Leech when he Whirlwinds me, which is totally fine. I go for the Freeze here. That's an option. We'll just Ice Beam. At this point, what else can I do, right? Just go for Ice Beam, Freeze. Rapid Spin. He must not have been Terra Ghost, I guess. Does S-Toss to knock me out. We go into Gogoat. And I can't let Scream Tail encore me, so I have to go for a Horn Leech here. It does go into Skarmory. Could double into Scream Tail at any point, so I have to go for a Leech Seed. I have to catch him on a Roost with an Earthquake, I think. That's how I win. So we Brave Birds. We get a Bulk Up. We are healing quite a bit off of these Brave Birds, at least. So I can Horn Leech, try to get a little more health up, but I think at this point, if he just blows himself up with Skarmory, he can just bring in Roaring Moon to finish me off. I will try to get one more Bulk Up, though. Maybe he Roosts. Maybe. I could also Earthquake. Try to catch the Roost. Not that it really matters. But it would also catch Scream Tail coming in. Yeah, I'll go for a Bulk Up. Well, he's thinking hard about his play. That makes me think he might switch Scream Tail in and just end the game. Because if he ever brings in Scream Tail on a Bulk Up, it's over. Man, playing against Stall is tough. And I'm very rusty, obviously. Other than that one doubles game I played over the break, I haven't played Pokemon in a hot minute. So, I'm sorry. This is not the best performance for me. Hopefully I can pick it up a little better in the future. We'll just go for a Horn Leech here. Okay, nice. So we do catch the Scream Tail coming in. So that's a positive. We can't get Encored to death. We're at +2/+2. Skarmory comes back in, but he only has 4 Roosts. So I can Leech Seed. He does hit himself with the Brave Bird. But I can Bulk Up fairly freely now, right? Like, what? He doesn't have a way to stop me from just bulking up to infinity now. Like, obviously Grass Knot Thundurus could be a problem, but I'm just gonna Bulk Up, you know, forever. Let me see. Gogoat into Thundurus. This is a weird calc. Oh no, he can't Grass Knot me. I was just like, could he not just Grass Knot me? But he can't because I'm Sap Sipper. So I can just Bulk Up. Go ahead and get to +6. A crit would really ruin my day, and it definitely can happen with, you know, how many Brave Birds he's going to have the chance to go for. But maybe we catch him here with an Earthquake if he Roosts. So we are at +6/+6. This is our chance. I will go for an Earthquake. I caught his Roost. Skarmory's dead. We're not playing the PP stalling game. Skeledirge obviously ignores all the boost. Thundurus comes in. So, Gogoat into Thundurus. It's nasty plot. So I'm +6/+6 locked in. Can't do anything different. Horn Leech is almost one-shotting. And Psychic is doing 20%. Sludge Bomb. He's going for the poison. He gets the poison instantly. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know if it matters. It will help because Skeledirge has the Unaware. I guess he didn't have Will-O-Wisp because he would have burned me otherwise. Burn would have been really good on Gogoat. Skeledirge comes in. I do have some speed. Horn Leech doesn't knock him out because he's Unaware, so I have to Earthquake. What are we doing to Roaring Moon? Are we knocking it out with an Earthquake? Yeah, always knocking it out with an Earthquake. Goes for the knockoff, gets rid of our leftovers. Probably should have done that a while ago. So we do. Oh my gosh, guys, we did it. I think we did it. I think we brought it back. I think Gogoat just turned a 6-0 into a into a 1-0 victory. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I was I was so done with this game. I thought we were so done for. I had to get the Screamtail turn right. Obviously, he could have knocked me off, and if you had burn on Skeletors, you could have went for that. But holy crap, we actually won. We won week 1 after being down 1-6. Holy that's crazy, bro. I can't believe Gogoat actually pulled it out. I knew this set was really good into him as soon as we could get Skarmory weakened, because I knew Whirlwind Skarmory was a problem. But all we had to do was sack our Terapagos, and we were in good shape. I think really he should have brought in Skeletors, or sorry, not Skeletors, Screamtail earlier, and maybe that would have made a difference. But honestly, I was clicking attacks pretty often because I knew if I bulked up on Screamtail switching in, it was over. So I think he played this phenomenally. He had the control of the game the entire time until Gogoat was the last Pokemon on the field. If you made it this far, thanks for watching and not giving up on the battle, because that's insane. I was so ready to give up, but Leech Seed turned out to be the right move because it let us stall that Skarmory out and keep healing on us. Wow. All right. Well, anyway, we'll be back next week with week 2 of this and week 1 of the UNPL. So I hope you'll come back and watch that. Hopefully we'll have some more hype games like this. I really don't want to let it go down to a 1-6 though. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.